All right, guys, we're back. Episode 2 of the Rivals podcast. We got a lot to talk about this week. It was a big week of football. We're going to start with Iowa, Indiana, because that's where I want to start. Disappointing game. First, let me get your thoughts on it first. I know you caught the tail end of it, then Layman, then I'll go after you guys.
Um, Honestly, I think that was probably one of Gronowski's best games so far passing. I know the stat line didn't say it. Um, but I think one of the things I also wanted to talk about was that um what was it, that screenplay on that 3rd and 5? Um, that was an incompletion, right? He I don't know. I think that changed the whole game right there. I mean, what Iowa attempted a field goal at the end right there, right?
Yeah, they attempted a
They
field
caught
goal
that.
right before the 2-minute warning and missed it.
Okay. Um, yeah, did Indiana go and score right after that then?
Yeah, yeah, they
Um,
did.
yeah. I think one of the stats that I also saw, which was crazy, um, and I didn't know this, but Iowa has one of the best O lines in the nation, right? Or
They
maybe the
do.
best
Yeah,
O line in the nation.
yeah.
And I saw that their run pass block grade was like a 40. Um, So Iowa knew what they wanted to do coming into this game, and that was to run the ball all over the place. Um, but I mean, I think Indiana came prepared, and that Indiana defensive front was really good. So that was kind of my takeaway.
All right, Layman, go ahead.
Yeah, no, classic defensive battle, obviously. I will say one thing that I took away from it is if I'm an Iowa fan, I'm probably not too mad at the outcome. It's not a bad loss. And I'm a lot more happy than Indiana fans are right now because having a game that close with Iowa after you curb stomp Illinois, that's not that's not the steps in the right direction in my opinion. Like I feel like you want to build off that Illinois blowout and go stomp Iowa like you're supposed to, not bring it down to the last play. I was also really confused by that last play taking the safety. I thought that was really stupid coaching. Like if you got
Oh
like
yeah.
fumble or something, or that was dumb. But yeah, Iowa's got to put points up. That's my biggest takeaway. 15 points isn't
I,
going to win it, no matter how good your defense is.
I will say, Layman, about that safety, I don't know where people were betting where the line was 6.5. Like,
Yeah,
I
okay,
did
I
not
saw
see
that
that line.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I only saw like 7.5 and 8.5. I don't know where people were getting
yeah, no,
6.5,
I saw that reel you liked. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know
No.
that. Yeah,
And then I think they need to get that. I think they need to improve their running. Like they relied on Caleb Johnson last year, and he kind of carried that offense. I think they need to reinforce that running game, and that's just going to help Gronowski out even more, take pressure off of him.
yeah, Layman, I gotta say, you talked about how you're feeling better if you're Iowa than Indiana. I feel like the vibes in Iowa City right now really are not very high, and
Really?
that's like rightfully so because we really should have won that game. Like it really felt like we should have won that game, and we just didn't. And I'm glad that a lot of people in Iowa City aren't really going the moral victory route because that's not really. I feel like that's not what you should do after a game like that with this team. Like this is a really good team that's just a couple plays away from being 5-0, and we just couldn't finish it. Like you said, Hurst, that screen pass was brutal. I mean, that's such a routine play. Like I know Hank Brown, like that is a brutal situation to come into with 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter of that game. But like you had that's such a routine play, and he's got experience in the SEC and all that. Like you have to make that play. Like that was there. Like we would have definitely at least gotten the first down and been able to run some clock. But
I
yeah, I
think
mean in the first Oh, go ahead,
no,
Landon.
yeah,
My
no. I
bad.
was gonna say I think it's kind of like the Tennessee Georgia game though. Like you know you can beat that team now. Like you know
I
you
would have,
have it
yeah.
in you. Like you can compete with a high level team. So that's gotta give you some confidence. I mean, like yeah, it sucks. You never want to celebrate a loss, but it shows you the potential that you have. Like you're a few plays away. Like we were a 4th and 7 away. You guys were a screen pass away. Like clean up those little things, and a few weeks down the road, meet them in the football playoff or in the Big Ten tournament.
Yeah, I'd agree with you there. I mean, that game did give me a lot of confidence that Iowa can compete with anyone that comes into Kinnick, including Penn State, including Oregon. We're going to give those guys games. As long as we have Gronowski back, we still don't really have an update on his injury status. Iowa's holding their cards close to their chest. But yeah, just a few more thoughts I had on the Iowa game. We really just gifted them 10 points in the first half, like worst start imaginable, pick, and then two-play drive for a touchdown. Then that drive they had at the end of the half where they had 22 seconds, just awful. I mean, we gave up that big run where we should have had the tackle, and then we had the big completion. They had the big completion to Surratt, and then they had the pass interference tacked on that, or not the pass interference, the rough in the passer tacked on the end of that. That turned a 61-yard field goal into a 46-yard field goal, and there's 10 points. There's Indiana's first half 10 points right there. So we just gifted them that. And then, yeah, we already talked about the screen pass. Another thing, this special teams unit was supposed to be like one of the best in the nations, and it's not lived up to it with Drew outside of Weegent with Drew Stevens missing that field goal, and then we also had a punt that got blocked. But yeah, I mean, you're right, Layman, in that Indiana is one of the best teams in the country. I mean, they have a really good running back duo with Hemby and Black back there, and then obviously Mendoza's a Heisman candidate, and then they got Surratt and Omar Cooper. And then they got guys like Aiden Fisher on defense. Yeah, like you said, Hurst, that defensive front is just really solid. We saw it against Illinois too, and I'm really excited to watch them play Oregon in a couple of weeks. That'll be a really good game. But yeah, that's enough on Iowa. Let's move on. Let's talk about Tennessee. Layman, give me your thoughts on that.
Yeah, pretty depressing game as a Bulls fan. You know, you go in there expecting to win that, and we did. We got the job done. But that's a team that you need to beat. Because, like I said, with the loss of Georgia, we don't have much margin for error looking in the college playoffs, especially with Bama, Florida, and Oklahoma still on the schedule. That games like that make you scared for a game versus Vanderbilt or even like Kentucky at their place. Maybe slightly better teams. But yeah, no, some things that we need to clean up. Turnovers. We had the muffed punt and then two more Joey Aguilar touchdown or interceptions. He started off the year hot, went like 9 touchdowns, no picks. Last two of the last 3 games, he's had 2 picks in, and they were against Georgia and Mississippi State. One of the big ones was in Mississippi State's red zone. So throw a pick there, they already got in the red zone, they score a touchdown. Same thing with the fumble that was in Mississippi State's red zone. Fumble the ball, they score a touchdown 2 plays later. And that was just such a huge momentum shifter at the beginning of the game because we come out 3 and out, and then we fumble. So need to clean up the picks, need to clean up the fumbles, need to clean up the defense. This was supposed to be a team that relied on the defense and 38 point or 44 to Georgia and then 38 or 41, whatever it was to Mississippi State. That's not going to do it against the good teams.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you guys came away with the win. I mean, I know Starksville, that's a really tough place to play. I know they got those cowbells over there. That's rough. First, did you have anything on that game?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really, I honestly think it's a good win for Tennessee.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, Mississippi State was 4-0. They're going to their place. They beat Arizona State. Um, I mean, Joey's 2 picks even. I don't even think any of those were his fault. I think they were both the receiver's fault, I think. So I think at least one of them hit their hands and
One of them was a deflection, yeah.
uh,
But
what was the other one? Did the receiver like fall down or something?
I don't remember.
I don't know. But
But
I mean, I'm not gonna play the, buts and ifs game. It's obviously a part of the game, but I'm not gonna discredit them. I think that was a solid win, and that's all that matters. You guys came away with the dub.
I do wish we would implement the run game a little bit more because like you see in overtime, Deshaun Bishop just riles up a 25 yarder. We got a good like backfield with him and Story. And I think if we put a little more into it, it would take a little more pressure off Joey. Like a little bit more of a balanced
Yeah.
offense. Connor, what are your thoughts? You watch it all?
I was not watching much of that Tennessee game, same time as Iowa game, wasn't really able to watch the recap. But yeah, I mean, just like I said, I think that's I mean that I know that Tennessee not Tennessee, sorry. I know that MSU team really had a lot of belief that they were going to win that game. They sounded confident. They had already taken down ASU at home, so I'm sure that was a really rough environment to play in. But yeah, Tennessee's, I mean, if you're Tennessee, I mean, you're sitting at 4-1 and you're Probably thinking CFP still. You know, you got some tough opponents coming up. You got Vandy, OU, Bama, all those games. But I mean, you guys are sitting pretty nice right now.
I think
So
as long as we go 2-1 against the Bama, OU, and Florida, if we go 2-1 at a minimum and take business against the other three opponents, I think we're going to be just fine. That's going to be
yeah,
a pretty
that Bama
strong
game will be really
case.
good. Yeah,
Vanderbilt's on the uprise, so I might put them in there. But
that's
we need those four teams. We need to win at least three.
yeah. Vandy's looking good. I feel like Pavia is pushing a top five quarterback.
He looks
Probably not
good.
quite, but he's probably around there. He's looking really good to start the season.
Big win for Bama too versus Georgia at Georgia too. Like they're gonna be tough. I
Yeah.
don't know what happened versus Florida State, but they're looking legit.
Yeah, I mean that win at Georgia was big. Um, Georgia, that was their. I mean, that was their. I don't remember what the exact number was on the home win streak, but that was their first loss at home in a while.
There's
And
like 30 something games.
yeah, 30 something. I mean, so yeah, that's pretty big for Bama. I did not expect Bama to go in there and win that game.
No, I didn't either.
Yeah. All right. Well, we want to move on to BYU here. Here, Hurst, I'll start with this one. I wasn't able to watch it live. I watched a little bit back, and then you can tell me what you think of my takes on it. I thought to start, you guys got beat on the ground. Colorado put up 14 points pretty quickly. Stalter and Miller were kind of running all over you guys. And then you guys had that one drive that you didn't quite finish, had to settle for three. And then you guys had that really good 2 minute drill to end the first half. Chase Roberts, I think, is a guy. I don't know what you think about this, Hurst. I think he's a guy that at least just watch in a little bit. He looks really good for you guys. Like just the way he uses his body, he looks great. And then in the second half, your defense really stepped up, got off the field in some big situations. I remember you guys had one bad punt return where you caught the ball kind of in the end zone. I was
Oh,
really confused by that, but that was kind of funny. Uh, yeah. And then you guys obviously had a really creative play call, I remember, to get the game-winning touchdown. So you had that little end around. So yeah, let me know what you think
Oh
first.
yeah. Um, yeah, I mean, if you were to tell me that BYU was gonna win that game after the first quarter, I would have been like, what? I mean, we couldn't. I was so frustrated watching that game. I know BYU's got a really good defense, and they were just running all over us. I mean, we couldn't, or BYU couldn't, they couldn't read an RPO like to save their life. I mean, it was QB was running all over the place, running back. Colorado's O line was getting anything they wanted. Um, yeah, I mean, we kept it close, and defense made some adjustments in the second half. I think Bear Bachmeyer for a freshman looks really good. He looks really mature. Um, don't want to jinx it, but we're 4 games in. He still has yet to have a turnover as a freshman. That's pretty crazy. Um, yeah, BYU does like to get creative with some of their plays. I think that little tornado, you know, I don't even know what you call it, but it had the camera going a few different directions. I mean, those plays are fun to watch, and um, when you came away with a dub, that's all that matters. Chase Roberts, like you said, 5th year guy. I think he's an NFL guy. Um, also another mature player, kind of our go-to guy on third downs. Um, yeah, I'm glad they came away with a W. And I don't know if this is a little biased, but I think Colorado is a little better than people think. You look at their opponents, and I think they're a combined opponent record. They have like 2 or 3 L's or something total. So Colorado hasn't necessarily played an easy schedule. So
Yeah, I do remember they did open the year against Georgia Tech, at least. That's a
mhm.
tough game to start. Yeah, it was just a very different look Colorado from, we're used to seeing Shador and Travis airing it out, and then it felt like they kept it on the ground a lot. But no, that's a good win. Layman, did you have anything on that game?
yeah, no, my biggest takeaway was the defense. 14 quick points, then held them to 7 the rest of the game. I think that's the BYU defense we all know, we've all watched. And like I said, Bear's looking good at quarterback. I think he's managing the game really well. He had like what, like 90 something rush yards.
Yeah, he almost had 100 rush yards on
Yeah,
TD. And in college,
kind of like a
that's
Jalen Hurts kind of game, did what he needed to do to win, kept the game flowing, didn't turn the ball over. I think it was good on all parts.
mhm.
The defense was especially impressive because after giving up 14 points, that can make a little that can put a little damper on the rest of the game, but they didn't let that get to them. 7 the rest of the game. That's a good stand over the last 3 quarters. Like her said too, I think Colorado's a solid team too.
Yeah.
Deion's a good coach.
Another thing I'd like to add is BYU has just been, and especially with Red Sox last year, like our short game in the red zone has just been horrible. I feel like BYU all year just been dancing around the red zone. BYU has one of the best kickers in the nation. Um, we settle for a lot of field goals. Um, so I think BYU, if they can figure that out, they can be a lot better. But so far we've just been, I don't know, kind of dancing around the red zone, and we've really struggled to just punch the touchdown in lately. So, um, but I think Bayer, I thought we were going to struggle with Red Sox transferring out and Bayer, a true freshman coming in, but I think it's been better than I expected. So that's all I can ask for. 4-0.
I do remember Hurst going off that red zone thing. You guys did actually have a big 4th and 2 conversion for a touchdown. I think it was in the second half with the play clock running down. That was kind of
I
big.
remember that.
That was Robert's touchdown. Yeah. But yeah, I wanted to ask you, Hurst, real quick before we maybe move on here. How do you feel like BYU stacks up in the Big 12 with some of these teams, such as like Iowa State, Texas Tech, Utah, ASU, TCU? I mean, that conference is just wide open and feels like a lot of teams are pretty neck and neck.
Yeah, and I know mid-season BYU's got a really, really tough stretch. I mean, we're at Iowa State, and then we're I think home versus TCU, and then we're at Texas Tech again. So I don't know really what my expectations are right now. Um, BYU didn't really play anyone to start the season, and we played like Portland State, then we play Stanford. So I mean, the only team we've played that's kind of showed some life, a little bit of life, is Colorado. So it's tough for me to say right now. Those will definitely be tough games. Um, I mean, last year BYU had the Big 12. I mean, we created our own path, and we lost a tough home game to Kansas, which should not have happened. Um, and we lost to Arizona State. Um, so if we get through the tough games, I just hope we don't have another, I guess, choke like that against a team that we definitely should beat.
Yeah, for sure. I'm excited to see how that all plays out. I know I've seen a lot of Iowa State. They're really good. So I'll probably try and watch some of that BYU at Iowa State. That'll be a good game.
Mm-hmm.
Layman, just checking in. How are we doing on time here? Do you have a time at all?
Say like 20 minutes. I don't know.
All right. I'm sure.
It
I'm go
might
ahead.
end randomly. We'll see.
No, I'm sure we can fill. Go ahead. Go ahead.
It'll give us a 10-minute warning. I think we'll be fine.
All right, bet. Yeah, I'm sure we can fill 20 minutes of NFL with the week we had this week.
Crazy
So,
week.
we, yeah, we want to go ahead and move on to the Bears a little bit.
Yeah, let's go Bears first. We'll start with you.
All right. Yeah, Bears. Obviously interesting game this week. I mean, first of all, I want to say it wasn't pretty, but we got the win, and that's a sign of a good team when you're not. I mean, it's the NFL. It's a 17 game season. You're not going to have it every week, and for us not to have it, I mean, especially on offense and get the dub, just make a play, make one more play than they did. I mean, it gets 2-2. Getting to 2-2 before the bye, I think was massive. That we needed that to keep pace with the rest of the division. And then we got the bye week this week, and then coming up in a couple weeks on Monday Night Football, we got Washington at Washington. I mean, we all know that's the place where the season flipped upside down last year. And I think if we get a win there, that could really make this have a like just flip this season around for better for this team and give us a lot of confidence going forward. Just going back to the place where it kind of all crumbled last year and getting a win. So we'll see how that unfolds in 2 weeks. But yeah, going back to last Sunday, there was still a lot of good, especially defensively. Lots of turnovers. Kevin Byard 2 picks. I think he's leading the NFL in interceptions right now. And he's a vet, so that's good to see. Also had Tyreek Stevenson with a pick. He's been getting a lot of hate. He's got low, like if you look at some like advanced statistics, he's got low grades. But I really believe in him. He should have had a pick at Dallas too. It just hit his hands and he dropped it. And he had that forced fumble against Dallas. So I mean he's really I think he's really still a young corner that's showing a lot of promise. And then we had that 4th and 1 where Billings wrapped Genty in the backfield and then Sewell came and punched out. So that's another 4 turnover game for this defense. I mean, you can't I mean this defense did not look dominant by any stretch. We still gave up a couple long drives, and then obviously we had the long play we gave up to Genty at the end of the half. That kind of reminded me last year, that long run we gave up at Arizona at the end of the first half, and I was like, oh boy, here we go. But no, we got it fixed, and this offense has got to get better, obviously. I mean, we had so many drives, all of their turnovers were in their own territory, and it was like field goal, interception, field goal, and then finally in the second half, we got Caleb Jerome for a touchdown. Um, and like I said, it was really just that D line, like Crosby. I can honestly say after that game, like Crosby is probably the best defensive end in the NFL. Like he's just a freak. He affects the game in so many ways. It's impossible to throw the ball like when he puts his hands up in the air. I mean, he's nuts. Um, but yeah, and then we had a couple rookies like Benedict stepping up, and then we finally got to see Trapillo, who I thought looked way better than expected against Crosby. So yeah, I mean, just a really gutsy win from this team. Do any of you guys have thoughts on it before I keep rambling? Sorry about that.
No, I think the biggest change between the Bears the last 2 weeks and the Bears first 2 weeks is the turnovers they're forcing. I mean, yeah, like you said, 4 turnovers last game, you said, right?
Yeah, 4 turnovers
Yeah.
against Dallas.
And then the next big thing is just to turn those turnovers into points because that's what separates, I feel like, great teams compared to like just the good teams. And like you said, like you had a couple that were in really good field position that ended in field goals and picks. That's how you put a game away is you put touchdowns up after those turnovers. But definitely an improvement from a 52 points to the Lions. Still clean a few things up and then just get the offense going. Keep Caleb comfortable, get the run game strong. I still wish that they would do more. Like I still wish DeAndre Swift would get going a little bit more. I think that would
Oh,
help.
I completely agree with you there. Swift did not have a good day, and he had a really dumb face mask that made me
Yeah.
really mad. But yeah, we gotta find a way to get this running game going. I really don't know. I mean, sign someone, use Monungai more, anything. Like I don't know what the answer is here. Like put more in the backfield, more. You have to try and like get more creative with it because it's just not where it needs to be right now. Swift does not run through contact well enough,
No.
and yeah, I don't know. It really hurt us on Sunday, obviously.
I think it's
So.
especially detrimental with like a quarterback like Caleb Williams, too younger, kind of more passive. I feel like that's going to give him more chances to throw downfield if they can get the run game going and get the defense thinking more. Maybe playing more man, I don't know, blitzing more. Let Caleb
Yeah,
perform some stuff outside of the pocket.
I agree with you there. Well, like figuring out this run game might be like the last, like not the last thing, but it would take a huge step into really just unlocking this offense and like all that it can do. Like, yeah, we need to get it figured out.
And I also say,
Um,
like as a Packers fan, that Rome to Caleb connection, that looks good. Like
yeah,
that's
I
good.
mean,
I wish
in
we could
my
get
other
DJ Moore going a little bit more, but yeah.
Yeah, DJ Moore is just a big target, but yeah, Rome's definitely wide receiver one right now. I mean,
Oh yeah.
he's just a great combination of size and speed, and yeah, he does it all. He's got a nice little touchdown streak. I think he's got maybe I saw on Instagram. I think it's the longest touchdown streak since like Walter Payton. Like that's pretty big for obviously Bears fans know Walter Payton. Um, but yeah, Hurst, did you have anything on the game at all?
I mean, I didn't really watch a lot of it. I think I just turned it on like when the field goal was happening. But um, I mean, it was nice for the Bears to be on the other end of that, right? I had no confidence in them at
Yeah,
all. I
I
thought
mean, yeah, for sure. Like the Bears, yeah, we are never on that side of games, and it was just so
no,
nice. By the way, Layman, like Josh Blackwell, Packers fans know Josh Blackwell had the punt return in Green Bay when we were there last January or December.
Yeah, we saw that firsthand. We know.
Yeah, I mean
We
he's just
know.
a guy that continues to make like the most of it, the little opportunity he gets, and it's just awesome to see. So I'm so happy for Josh Blackwell. Shout out Cairo Santos too. That was a big game for him. Made 2 field goals from 50 plus. I mean, I if we had done a podcast after that Vikings game, I would have been really hard on him after that Minnesota game because that really made me mad. But I mean, yeah, he was phenomenal on Sunday, and then obviously Kevin Byard was great, as I already mentioned. I mean, 2 picks. Um, but yeah, other thoughts. It looked like some of the offensive line penalties kind of came back, which we can't really have. The false starts, the holds, like. And then yeah, the other thing with Trapillo is interesting. Like, I don't really understand what the plan here is for him because we drafted him to play left tackle, but then it sounds like he's not really comfortable playing left tackle, and he was a right tackle in college, and then we got Darnell Wright at right tackle. So like I don't and then sounds like Theo Benedict's gonna be the left tackle going forward. So I mean I just don't know what we're gonna do with Trapillo. It'll be interesting to see, but that kind of makes me a little upset. I mean, I wish we would have had a little bit more of a plan. I had a bad feeling when I heard the phone call on draft day and Ryan Poles is on the phone like, you guys know our dads were on the same roster at BC at Boston College where Poles went to school, and I was just like, here we go again with Poles drafting like connection linemen. But no, it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, at the end of the day, great gutsy win from the Bears, 2-2. And the other big thing is we should be getting people back after this bye week. Kyler Gordon, TJ Edwards. We're finally going to see this Bears squad as close to healthy as it can possibly get, like minus Jalen Johnson, who's not coming back for a while. So we might, like I said, this defense isn't dominant. It just does what it has to do. It makes turnovers, it forces field goals, which is great. But now you might, with these guys coming back, you might finally be able to see the Bears defense really just step up and dominate a game, which I'm super excited to see. So we'll see what happens in a couple of weeks here. But yeah, I'm sure you guys want to move on. I'm sure you want to move on, Will, to the Packers. I
Not
think we could talk
really.
for a while about this game. Let's hear it.
Yeah, a lot of problems with the Packers. Actually, I had about a 30-minute conversation with this like 60-year-old at the airport yesterday. We analyzed everything bad at the Packers. Biggest takeaways, O-line, terrible. Crazy stat that they showed. We had 8 combinations last year of O-line. This year we've already had 11 through 4 weeks. So I mean, I'm glad we have the bye this week. Get Zach Tom and Aaron Banks back to healthy. We need those guys back because it's it's pretty piss poor without them. Not helping Jacobs out. Love's been getting pressured. The next thing is Josh Jacobs he has to get going, and that's going to come with the O line hopefully. But you take out 2 of his runs last game, and he was probably averaging like 3-1, 3-2, which is what he did the first 3 games this season as well. We're at our best when he's putting out those big runs, going for 100 yards a game. And then the last thing is just getting that wide receiver one set when we don't have Jaden Reed because Romeo Doubs had 3 touchdowns. That was great. Matthew Golden had some big catches, Tucker Kraft, but we need Jordan Love to have a guy that like a go-to guy on that 4th and 2, 3rd and 5 situations. And then obviously the story of every Packers fan's life, crappy special teams, makes you tweak out every time they go out there. Blocked extra point. That's the second block kick of the year, and then he got returned for the 2 point safety or whatever it's called. And that was the real turning point of the game. We could have been up 14-0 at that point. Yeah, that was huge. That was huge. Going up 14-0 because I think Dallas's offense is actually really underrated. I think Dak Prescott's actually playing very well, and that was without CeeDee Lamb. George Pickens, some crazy catches. Uh, what's his name? Tolbert. Tolbert, I think he's an interesting piece. And even Javonte Williams kind of resurrecting his career. But overall, pretty bad beat as a Packers fan. That's definitely a game you expected to win and expected to bounce back after the Browns. And the defense has been playing so good this year, and then just 40 points. Cornerbacks looked bad. D line got 0 pressures. We had one garbage time sack in overtime. Other than that, nothing, not too much to be happy about. Besides, Jordan Love performed well, 3 touchdowns, 333 yards. He had that one fumble when the pocket collapsed, of course. Other than that, though, really, really good game by him.
First, I got a couple things I want to add, and then I'll let you go. But yeah, Layman, you were talking about that extra point that got ran back, and I saw the beginning of this game, like the first quarter, and then I saw the fourth quarter and overtime. And yeah, I was gonna ask you if that was the turning point of the game because just watching the score, like just keeping track of the score while I was working out, it really felt like it. Like I mean from the time I was watching to when I stopped watching, it was 7-0 Green Bay at the end of the first quarter, and it felt like Green Bay was really just doing whatever they wanted.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then it felt like it kind of flipped with that extra point.
I mean,
And then
13-2 is just so different because they score a touchdown. Now it's a field goal instead of 4 points or instead of seven
right,
points.
yeah, yeah. So that's kind of really unfortunate. Felt like that kind of kickstarted things for Dallas, maybe. But then the other thing I wanted to agree with you on is Dallas's offense. Like, yeah, they're humming. Like, I mean, they probably have a case for being like the second best offense in the league right now, like behind like the Lions only. Like they look really good. Yeah, Dak's playing at a high level. That O line's looking solid, and yeah, they got a really good group, especially when CeeDee Lamb comes back.
Yeah.
Like Lamb, Pickens, Turpin, and Tolbert, like that. That's a pretty good group of receivers. Plus, I think Javonte Williams is playing real hard right now. He's one of the more underrated running backs in the league. So yeah, I mean that was a great job, and obviously that's a good defense in Green Bay, and I mean Dallas 40 pieced them. That's kind of crazy. Yeah, go ahead, Hurst. Oh, did you have something to add, Layman?
No. Go ahead, Hurst.
Okay, yeah, Hurst, go ahead. We'll get your takes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have a ton to say. Um, but I didn't really watch the first half. I turned it on in the second half and overtime. But I mean, I don't really know who deserved to win that game. But
Cowboys.
yeah,
I was gonna say, yeah, I feel like if you're like Dallas, you really feel like you let one get away from you there. I feel like if you're Dallas after that game, you feel more like you lost than you won because you feel like you should have won. And then Green Bay after that game, you're like,
Just thankful
man,
we
I'm kind of
tied.
lucky. Yeah, lucky you tied, honestly. Yeah.
yeah,
I
that's
mean,
a
Dallas definitely benefits more from it being a tie because prior to the game, that's a game you expect to lose. But after the game, I feel like Dallas is probably more like feels let down that they didn't win the game, if that makes sense.
yeah, no,
Sorry, Hurst, go ahead.
no, you're good. That's a good point actually. But I mean, I just feel like the Packers were like, especially in the late fourth quarter and in OT, I just feel like they were down to their last um down multiple times. Correct me if I'm wrong, but
No, you're right. Big
I
fourth and
mean,
five conversion by Jordan Love and Matthew Golden. That was
yeah,
huge.
I mean that that obviously kept him in the game, and I don't really like the Packers, so it was disappointing. But um, yeah, and I'll also be honest, I kind of forgot that there was only one OT in the NFL, so I was very confused when it ended in a tie. But I don't know, it just sucks that it was such a good game and it ended in a tie. So I I don't really know the implications that has for playoffs and games in the future, but I guess we'll see later down the
It's gonna be a
road.
bad beat for the Packers come week 16 because, like, as a Packers fan, you know we should be sitting at 4-0 with a game lead over the
Yeah,
Lions, and we have the tiebreaker. But now we're 2-1-1. We're sitting a half game behind the Lions.
yeah,
I don't know. The one loss, it's a screwy situation, in my opinion. Not something you want. I mean, it's better than 2-2, but no, I think that's gonna come back to bite when we're fighting for a 1 through 4 seed compared to a 5 through 7. And I'd much rather have that 2 or 3 seed in the playoff come playoff time.
yeah,
I'd agree with you guys there. I think that Green Bay is going to be much more in the race for the North than Dallas is going to be in the race for the East. So I feel like that tie probably hurts Green Bay more. And like when you think about like playoff implications and stuff like that, especially if you're talking about keeping pace with a team like Detroit. I feel like they're going to finish the year with a pretty good record most likely. So yeah, that might be a tough tie if we look back at the end of the year.
Yeah, I mean, you
But
look
yeah,
back and Eagles and we played the Eagles last year and the Cowboys 2 years ago. Those are two. That's the 2 seed and the 3 seed, I think it was last year. Or no, it was the 2 seed 2 years in a row. Like that's not an easy environment to go into first round of the playoffs with a young offense, one of the youngest teams in the league. That's just a recipe for disaster. So I'm hoping we don't bite these last 2 games. Hopefully we can rattle off a couple. Our schedule coming up is looking really favorable, which is nice. Sorry though, what were you saying?
no, who do you guys got your next three games? Just out of
Uh,
curiosity, for next
we
few.
got so we got the Bengals at home, not losing that. Then we got the Cardinals, Steelers, Panthers. I mean that's all leading up to the Eagles game. So you gotta be thinking 6-1-1 going into the Eagles game, in my opinion.
And yeah, and going off of what you said about having the 7th seed and that being tough, like if you get a home playoff game in Green Bay, like that, especially in the winter months, like that's a really advantageous environment to play in if you're Green Bay.
Oh
So like,
yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
especially when you got like Jacobs and hopefully, what is the status of like your O line injuries? Like, are those guys coming back or
So
what's the deal?
they were both back last week, and they rushed them back, which was stupid. Uh, Zach Tom torn oblique issue. He should be back the week after the bye, so we should be good. And so should Aaron Banks. His wasn't as serious. Oblique's a little more serious. I want to say Aaron Banks was like quad or something. I think they should both be back.
Yeah, okay, I got you. All right, yeah. No,
Well,
that was yeah. That I mean, obviously their O line looks a little like they've struggled the past couple weeks compared to the first, 2 weeks of the season. And
I mean,
yeah, I
Jordan
feel like if
Morgan's been
you're
really depressing. Like, hoping he'd step up. Nope.
yeah, I mean, you just got to remember, it's obviously a 17 game season and a lot
Yeah.
can happen, everything like that. Yeah.
I got about
But
two
yeah,
minutes left.
2 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, if anyone has any final thoughts, I did want to say, I don't know if you know this, Layman, but Iowa, the Bears, Tennessee, and Green Bay are all on bye next week.
That's actually crazy. That now that you say that, I didn't know Iowa was on by. That's wild. It's gonna be
Yeah, so
gonna be a tough sports weekend.
yeah, I was gonna say I really wanted to talk about our teams this week so we could get that in before we
Yeah.
don't have the opportunity to do that. BYU plays, I think, Friday night against West Virginia, right, Hurst?
yes, you're right. It is Friday. Yeah.
Yeah.
40-minute session on
So
the Cougars.
Oh yeah, we don't have nothing to talk about. Dang.
yeah,
But
so next week might be a good week to talk some fantasy football or something like that. But
Yes,
yeah, we'll
hey,
probably
get our
wrap it up.
pick'ems in.
Yep, get the pick'ems in next week. Yep, for sure. Yeah, we'll probably wrap it up here though. We probably got like a minute left. All right. Good talk, boys. We'll come back next week, do some fantasy. Connor Drake, Ethan Hurst, Will Lehman. We'll see you next week.